Hi, everyone. I am the host of Style and Conversation podcast. My name is Jessica Lauren. This is our very first episode. This episode is a part of the 30, Flirty, and Thriving series. And with this episode, we are talking about friendship after 30. For this topic, I thought the best person to speak with would be my best friend since I was 5 years old. Since we were 5 years old, we're now 32. Megan Green. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Hi, everyone.
And
I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you for this first episode. And so, what we're going to do for today's podcast, we are going to talk about our long-standing friendship, how we maintain the ebbs and flows of different stages through elementary school to middle school, high school, college, and now as adult women juggling life, career, relationships, losing loved ones, navigating other friendships. So we're just going to get right into it. So Megan holds a Bachelor of Science degree in broadcast journalism from Troy University. She is a New York-based writer for Sheen magazine. She has many passions, a few being a contributing writer for Sheen, amplifying the voices of workers in the entertainment industry and labor movement, interviewing some of our favorite entertainers or entrepreneurs in beauty and fashion. She has interviewed New York City Mayor Eric Adams, model and Atlanta housewife veteran Cynthia Bailey, actress Kyla Pratt, businesswoman and writer Martha Stewart, American playwright Lynn Nottage, I hope I didn't butcher her last name, singer T-Boz of TLC, actor Clifton Powell, and so many more. In her spare time, Megan enjoys traveling, that she does, interior decorating, and connecting with fellow creatives. Keep up with Megan through Instagram at the Megan Simone. All right. So
that made me sound like super awesome.
Like her, because you are.
Thank you, girl. You know, sometimes we don't compliment ourselves or acknowledge our accolades, but thank you for giving me my flowers in that moment. I appreciate it.
Yes, we definitely need to give each other our flowers. And I learned so much from you on a day-to-day basis, even since we were little. So I want to get into that today. So I'm going to let you tell your version of how we met, and then I'll tell my version.
So, okay, cool. I'll tell the truth because my version is the truth. So it was in elementary school, first grade, and we both attended E.R. Dixon in Mobile, Alabama, and I was taking a class with a girl named Kayla. And Jessica was already friends with Kayla and another young girl. And I think we were on the playground and Kayla was like, here are my friends, and she mentioned Jessica's name. And I'm like, hey. And then we saw each other. Jessica was kind of like rude. She was like really standoffish. Anyone who's known Jessica since she was also young, Jessica's always been, she's little, but she's mighty. She's sassy. It's a lot going on in there. Don't underestimate her. So, I did kind of, even though we in first grade, I kind of did get a little energy, and I'm like, oh, okay, she was a little stankish. And then I saw her again because there was an after school program at E.R. Dixon called Star, and we both attended it. And so I saw a familiar face, and I was like, hey. And then she was a little nicer. And then I think we bonded from just kind of maybe enjoying the same snacks, or I was looking for a dance studio and you were at Gale's, and after a while she was cool, and I haven't been able to shake her since. So it's at this point, all right, cool.
You haven't been able to shake me?
Okay.
Okay, so the first part of the story, yes, I remember that. Actually, all of that is true. Now, the one thing that always stands out to me about how we met is you said you asked me to play Connect 4. Okay. And I was like, no.
What first grader is to what you want to do? Go to New York Fashion Week? We in first grade.
Yes, actually, I did. Actually, I did. And I also wanted to be playing with Barbies. So I can believe that. Knowing myself, me now, I would not do that. But, 5 going on 6-year-old Jessica, I could see that. I could definitely see that. So I remember that. But what I will say, I'm glad that you just shook that off, because I would have missed out on one of the most important and best relationships in my life. We'll get into it later, but you taught me so much. Even I'm still learning from you as an adult woman, but as a kid, I don't think you realize how much you taught me about confidence, just going with the flow, shaking things off, not allowing people to stress you out. So we'll get into that, but I just wanted to lead with that one. So that leads me to our first question. So, being friends from such a young age, in what ways has our friendship evolved over the years?
I mean, it's evolved in so, like, literally just being naive and our innocence to, like, the world is not what we imagined as little girls, where it's like, oh, this is what life is going to look like at 25. This is what life is going to look like at 30. And you get at 25 and you get to 30 and you like, life ghetto. Like,
real expensive.
It's mad expensive. It's like, it's just a lot going on. Like, yeah. So, I feel like it's evolved in ways where, one thing I love about us, I feel like definitely there have been weak spots, but I feel like we've always just been very strong in, like, the category of communication when it comes to our friendship. And that's just from a young age, like checking in, you being vulnerable about whatever, family stuff, personal things, sometimes just school related, where it's like, if you're struggling in a class or I'm struggling in a class and we're like, girl, like, this professor, like, I'm going to, like, after hours having like an additional assistance for it, but I'm just not getting this information, or I'm not taking it in to the other students, and being insecure about that.
Yeah.
And kind of like working, like, we just like bouncing each other ideas, and picking each other's brains, or like, okay, well, this is the best way I think you should navigate this in this situation, and vice versa. And I think that's just kind of how our friendship has just evolved in so many ways, where like we've gone from little girls and like being super innocent and just naturally naive, to like we sharing stuff with each other. And it's like, it don't even have to be relationship wise. It could be like, girl, I got this job interview, but let me tell you, what they're offering, or, what the job entails. And I'm like, I don't know, sis, like, do the research, read the reviews, like, make sure it's a very reputable company, so you won't be wasting your time.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just evolved in so many ways, from, like I said, like babies to teenagers, and navigating like puberty and heartbreak, like, your first love breaking your heart, to like college. And it's like, okay, this is our first time, like, we're still obviously like kids to our parents, but we have to make adult decisions. And it's like, our parents is no longer there to make sure we go to class and we succeed. Like, now that's in our hands. It's like, all right, if you want that degree, then it depends on you to get up and go to class.
Yeah.
So it's evolved in so many ways, and I think it's going to continue to evolve, because you and I naturally, we always are hungry for the better version of ourselves.
I like that.
So I think it's just going to always continue to evolve.
I like that. I agree with everything that you said, and I really resonate with the last part of your response to that question, in that you and I are both always looking to be the better version of ourselves. And I think that's one reason why our relationship has lasted and stood the test of time, because we both are two people who have chosen evolution. Yeah, there have been times, we're human, where we we might have had a life change coming at us and we didn't want to fully embrace it, but we leaned into that and had to. And so I think that's something that has kept us. Excuse me, I'll say, for my response to that question, I think that we have always been like each other's front row and support system, but I
Mm-hmm.
think our support has increased over the years because our
Absolutely.
communication has gotten better, because I think we both are naturally good communicators. We both majored in something that is related to communication, and I think that that's naturally something that we both have within us.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, I think our faith helps both of us because we both are believers. The other thing I would say is that we're both in therapy. Well, you're currently in therapy. I don't have my insurance right now, but once I get it back, I'll be back in therapy.
Yeah.
So, but we're both in therapy.
That's honesty though. Like,
Just look, I'm just being real, and
right.
I'll explore the reasoning behind that in another episode. But yeah, so I think that is something that has helped both of us communicate better. I think the other ways that we've evolved is because we're both doing those things individually to
Mm-hmm.
be better communicators and be more vulnerable just with ourselves. Like, I know for me, these past couple of weeks, one thing I've been working on after finishing this one book that I'll talk about, The Emotionally Healthy Woman, it's helped me be more honest with myself, which has
Mm-hmm.
helped me be more honest with other people
Mm-hmm.
and be more vulnerable. Just last year, you and I had a situation where I had to come and be like, Meg, I don't think this was your intention, but it's really hard for me to talk to you about this, but you really hurt my feelings when you did this. And I think, number one, me being able to say, hey, it's hard for me to talk to you about this, but you just naturally being so calm and being receptive to that helped me in that moment to navigate that. So I would say our relationship has evolved with just our increased support, better communication, and just this us creating the space for each other to be vulnerable. And I just want to pause right there because I have had girlfriends that aren't in my life at this moment, but where they hit you with the girl, not me, couldn't be me, you better than me.
I
And
hate that. I've had.
that's why I wanted to pause on that, because we don't do that to each other. And I'm
Right.
not saying that there has never been a moment that you or I have done that to each other. I'm a Virgo, judgment runs through our blood. So I've naturally had to work on being a better person
Mm-hmm.
to the people that I love. And it's a daily
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, but that space doesn't exist between us. So like, girl, couldn't be
Right.
me, not my man, not my taxes, not my style. We just don't do that. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that just doesn't create the space for your
It
friend to
does.
come to you and be vulnerable and bring their whole selves to the table. Because I think naturally, as women, as Black women, we have the feeling that we have to be superwoman and come to the table prepped and ready.
Right.
And with your girlfriends and the people closest to you, it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to come as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that's one thing I'm grateful for, and our friendship has always put that first at the forefront.
And just to piggyback off that statement,
Mhm.
for anyone who's listening to this and you know yourself, like when Jessica said that, you identify with either being that friend that says couldn't be me, or you have a friend
Mhm.
that says that and you know how it makes you feel. I would encourage the person who says that, be mindful and find ways or another language, like another verbiage to replace that. And maybe your intentions are not bad, but you
Mhm.
don't know how that can instantly shut down a person from ever being vulnerable with you again. And when the friendship like crumbles, you don't even know that was like what spearheaded. And if you
Mhm.
are the friend on the receiving end where you have a girlfriend that's saying that to you, advocate for yourself and just be like, hey, I just want to let you know, when you say that, that doesn't make me feel good, and say the reasons why. And if that's your true friend, then your reasoning should be valid, and then you navigate that. And just like when Jessica was like, she came to me like a year ago, and
Mhm.
it like was just like, you hurt my feelings, I had to acknowledge that. And it's not, well, sorry if I made you feel that way. No.
Yeah.
Just
Just
apologize.
apologize.
Just apologize. Like, no, because people really be getting on my nerves sometimes. And I'm like, we grown. Like, you.
No. No, facts. No. I don't wanna, we don't need to rush past that because everything that you just said is important. I think the first thing is, like you said, if someone is hearing this and you know you're that friend that you do that, take a step back and be like, this is an area I need to do better in. And
Right.
make a conscious, nobody's saying tomorrow you're gonna wake up and just be a changed person.
Right.
Change takes time and the choice of evolution, but be conscious about how you're making other people feel. And then also, if you're the person in the receiving end, I know it's not always easy even for me to address conflict, but when you're ready, lean into that and raise your hand and just say, hey, this is hurting my feelings. And I like what you said about listing the reasons why it makes you feel that way.
Right. Right.
I think that's really helpful. So with going that, I feel like that's a good segue point to our next question. What regrets do you have within our friendship?
Not too many, honestly. I think that without saying too much, when we were, early 20s, just allowing myself to be manipulated with a certain.
You took mine. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, allowing myself to be manipulated in a certain situation, and instead of coming to you and us talking about it, I can like take accountability and say that I allowed myself to be manipulated. And I just we just should have like talked, and we did it. And so I think it was like maybe was it a year where
it was a year we didn't really communicate.
Yeah, I mean, we talked, but but you could tell that it was just awkward. Like, I didn't feel like, dang, like this is Jessica. Like, why is it when I see her walking up to me, or like we're about to cross each other paths, I'm getting butterflies in my stomach because I'm like, what I say, what we talk about, like it just felt like unnatural.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not who I should be feeling that way with. Like, and so I think that situation is the only time I regret. I have a regret in our friendship.
We have the same one. So again, without sharing too much, this time period, let me back up. Let me give everybody some history. So like I said, Megan and I have been best friends since we were 5. The unique part of our story, we went to the same elementary school, the same middle school, because my parents divorced when I was 5. Megan lived in the same, like across the street from my dad. And I went to middle school in his district. I also went to high school in his district, which was where Megan's district was. So we were at the same elementary, middle school, high school. And then when it came time to pick colleges, I had chosen Troy first. And then I think by default, we're going to have a real moment. By both of our ACT scores, we both ended up at Troy.
Yo, the ACT, I took it 4 times.
I think I took it 3 or 4. I don't even remember. I blocked that trauma from my brain. But once I got what I needed to get into Troy, I was like, I'm done. Troy's my school. I visited. I like it.
And let me just say this real quick.
Please say it.
But we had great, because I know it may be somebody on here who's like, they stupid. Nah, we had great GPAs. We're just, when it comes to test, like that level of test taking, I don't know about you, but I had huge anxiety.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what it was, but I just could not get a very high test score for the schools that I wanted to go to. And the schools that I wanted to go to were out of state. And in order for, I think, me to get like in-state tuition, the ACT score had to be a certain number, and I just couldn't get it. And so, Troy, I think they had like if they still do, they have like a conditional and unconditional status where if you have
Right.
a great GPA, you can still get in. And
Right.
then after I think a first semester, if you like doing well, you get off the conditional status. And so, I mean, we got our degrees.
We
So
did. We did. We got our degrees. We work. We contribute to society. We pay our taxes begrudgingly, but we pay them.
yeah.
Yeah, like, so anybody out there, if there's some kids listening, don't trip
Don't be
the
discouraged,
ACT.
baby.
No, don't be discouraged. This is not the end of your life
Right.
at all. Both of us have been very successful in our field
Right.
and our areas of passion. So yeah, don't even trip off that.
Right.
So yes, elementary, middle school, high school, we ended up at the same college. In addition to that, in between those years, we also were at the same dance studio during our elementary school years. We did a lot of extracurricular activities together during high school. So we've always been in these spaces together.
Right.
And I think we had one falling out in high school. It was for a weekend, and we were so down. But I know you blocked it out. I don't. It was so stupid. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember like neither one of us, we couldn't take it too long. Like we ended up seeing each other in the hallway, and I was like, "I miss you. I'm sorry." And you were like, "I
Was
miss you
that when we
too."
shared a locker?
No, that was middle school when we shared the locker. That was a rough period.
Oh, that's another thing too, best friends. It's okay to not be your room, like your best friend's roommate. It's like Jessica and I shared a locker together in middle school, and that was the moment we vowed when we got
Never
to college
again.
that we would not even be roommates. If our friendship meant enough to us that we would not share anything like that ever
Yeah.
again. And I think it worked.
It helped. It helped because at 17 years old, we both knew, sis, I love you. But in terms of sharing a space, we can't do it.
Right.
And so we didn't. When everyone found out that we were both going to Troy, everyone knew Jessica and Meg that we had been friends for years. And so they're like, "Oh, y'all going to be roommates?" And we were like, no. It's a no for us. We're just saying no. So yeah, my regret during our college years, there was a moment where we both were growing. We had transitions. We were meeting new people. We were dating. Neither one of, we'll leave that dating choice alone for this podcast. We evolved, y'all. But knowing what I know now, I would not have handled that situation that way at all. I would have been I would have spoken my piece and been done with it, but not spoken my piece and been stubborn in the way that it jeopardized our friendship. And that's one thing that knowing that I regret and knowing what I know now at 32, you're going to have friends that make choices that you don't agree with. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't be their friend, but how I would handle that now is just simply saying, okay, this is how I feel about the situation. And I'm sharing this because I love you and I support you and I want the best for you. However, whatever decision you make, I'm going to rock with you, but leave it at that. Don't let it be like, oh, you can't be my friend if you do this. And if you stay that, like, it doesn't need to be that serious. Like, it's not that serious. And one thing my mom told me years ago, and it stuck with me, she said, you can't pick for somebody. And they're the ones that have to be in that relationship with that person, and they have to go through that stage and learn what they need to learn. So it's not up to you to put your foot down and be stubborn and make things more difficult for them. So that's something I definitely would have done differently. And going forward, that's something I put into practice with my friends. And once we found our way back, I'm glad that you had the patience to like walk through that phase with me, because I think it took like maybe like a month or a couple months for us to get back on track. But I remember, I think we both were home at the same time. We're both from Mobile, Alabama. And something I have a bad habit of is I had gone through my grieving process of grieving our friendship and accepting, okay, well, maybe Megan and I we're not going to be friends anymore.
Right.
Or we'll just be associates. Like I see you on the quad and we speak and that'll be it. But once I go through that phase with someone, it's hard for me to get back to not necessarily where we were, but get to a better space. And I know that's something that I haven't figured out how to navigate with relationships. So I'm grateful that you stuck through that and worked with me, because I remember you would come over to my dad's house and I was, it was just odd, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And my dad was like, well, Jess, she misses you, she misses the friendship, lean into it. Mm-hmm. And so shout out to him for giving his wisdom, and just always, both of our families have always been supportive of our friendships. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm glad we got through that and we came out better because of it. And I think with lessons learned for both of us.
Absolutely. And just a shout out to your dad too. I think what I've always valued about our friendship is that we really do come from a great foundation of a village. Mm-hmm. We and not even just like with our families, but like our other friends outside of us, mm-hmm. Who are our support system too, and just like we just got a solid village, and I think that's mm-hmm. so important.
It's very important. Having that support system is what gives you your foundation as a person. Like we talked mm-hmm. about communication early on in the podcast. And I know that our foundation in the village that we came from is what gave us the tools to be such great communicators and value relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think it's funny you said that, because you and I have had an in-depth conversation about this before, naively, because our relationship came so naturally. Like we said, we've had bumps in the road, but it was never anything so detrimental. There was never like this egregious betrayal.
Because New York, y'all. Yeah. So let me just put it on pause. I mean, on mute.
You're all good. You are all good.
Okay. If you've been to New York, or if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. By the way, do you hear Coco snoring in the background?
No.
Okay, cool. You haven't heard it. That's my dog, everyone. You'll see her at some point. So I thought, because our friendship came so effortlessly, naively, I thought that everyone valued and approached and thought about friendship the same way. Right. And I need to raise my hand and say that was something I was super naive about. And then once I got into my late 20s and I was making new friendships as an adult, right. I realized, oh, everybody's not like Megan, because I currently reside in Atlanta. Megan is in New York. I've been here about 2.5 years now. Prior to this, I lived in New Orleans. Megan has been in New York now for what, over a decade?
10 years.
Yeah, decade. And so meeting new people and navigating that, it was interesting. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I have formed some great relationships, and I'm so grateful for girlfriends that I have and all of those things. But there have been a few people where I was like, I thought to myself, you communicate like this with adult women, mm-hmm. and you think you're going to get a good result, and you think someone will want to stay your friend? Who raised you? I'm going to just say it. Who raised you? And I'm not going to go into details on anyone specifically, but I will say, when you talk about foundation, one thing, I think another reason I was so naive to this is because my mom is one of 8 children. Mm-hmm. And my grandparents had 4 boys, 4 girls. I don't know how they worked it out that way, but they did. Excuse me. The 4 girls, it's now 3. My aunt, God rest her soul, she passed away shortly before COVID. They have always ridden for each other. All the siblings are tight-knit, but the girls, they ride. Any Black people listening to this that have aunties and you understand what I'm saying about the way they ride for each other. Mm-hmm. And if you are not a Black person, I would suggest maybe watching Soul Food, to as a point of reference, to see how those sisters, they had their moments, but at the end of the day, they rode for each other. Mm-hmm. And what I witnessed with my mom and her sisters and what she extended further to her girlfriends, yeah, they had their moments where like one sister would be mad at the other, or two sisters might be mad at one, and they would be on the phone. I'm not gonna lie, and they're gonna listen to this, and they know I'm telling them the truth, and they're gonna laugh. They will be on the phone talking crap. I can't believe Mill did such and such, and Brenda such and such, and nothing such and such.
Right.
But when they get off that phone and they go into the world, they have each other's backs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they have their flaws within how they handle conflict within their relationship, but they have each other's backs. And so that for me was my first example of a girlfriend, like how you nurture and grow relationships with your girlfriend. And that space should be a space filled with joy, laughter, support, honesty, sometimes honesty that you don't necessarily want to hear at that moment, but you need to hear. So that was my example. And I think what you're saying about foundation is really important, because what I have found, again, not everyone, because I have a front row of people that I'm so grateful for. But what I have found is that not everyone has that foundation to fully understand how to be a good girlfriend to your girlfriends. And I don't take that for granted that we had that example from them, from our tribe.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. And so speaking of foundation, everyone, so something else that is important as a woman for your foundation is taking care of yourself from inside and out. So I'm excited to talk about our sponsor for the first season of Style and Conversation, which is Vita Authority. So Vita Authority believes that everyone should be able to take their health into their own hands. And we envision a future where health and nutrition products are found on counters in every single household. We pride ourselves on being an absolute authority when it comes to health and wellness supplements, and set the standard on providing high quality, science-based, clean, tested, and proven products for every person from every walk of life. Vita Authority can now be found at GNC retail stores as well as other retailers nationwide, and has gone international into Canada, the Dominican Republic, Panama, the Caribbean, and Africa. For more information about Vita Authority and their commitment to promoting women's health, wellness, and active lifestyles, please visit www.vitaauthority.com. And so I also want to take a moment. I have been an actual customer of Vita Authority for over a year now. I consume their powdered collagen. This is it. Every morning, I take one scoop and I add it to my water. They do have options where you can add it to your coffee, your smoothie, whatever your choice. For me, I found that it's easier to add to my water. I have noticed a complete difference in my skin, in my hair, in my nails. So just to talk about one of the benefits, once a year, so I naturally have long nails, and I use polygel for my nails. Once per year, you and I both do this. We'll remove the product and just let our nails be for a few months, just to give them a break, revitalize them, and it's a way to save a coin. And recently, a couple of weeks ago, I went and had the polygel taken off, and my nails were slightly brittle, but they were not as brittle as they had been years previous when I had the product removed. And so I immediately thought to myself, okay, it has to be the collagen, because that's the only thing I've done that's different, added into my routine. I no longer consume biotin because I have been doing laser hair removal. And this is just a great way to keep those things strong and just add to your overall health as a woman. So again, this is Vita Authority. This is their multi-collagen protein that I consume, and I highly recommend this. Okay. All right. So with that,
some of that, because it's it's just important to nurture your skin, your nails, hair, and all of that. Yes. And I saw a post the other day on Instagram where it was basically like, if you used to wear jellies, at this point, it's time for you to have a skin routine. So, ladies, if you used to have the jellies, it's that time. We got to have a skin routine. So, yeah.
That is very true. And I just want to say, so our listeners get a discount, a 15% discount a 15% off code by using the code styled by Jess. And so this will give you 15% off their entire collection of products. I definitely recommend it. So again, you'll go to vitaauthority.com to use this coupon code. It is styled by Jess, STYLEDBYJESS. And so with that, we're going to get back into the conversation. So we talked about our foundations. So we touched on this a little bit. How have you found that we handle our conflict?
Yeah, communication.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just communication. And um I'm really big on just listening to a person, you know. Um when if we, have conflict, are you saying like conflict with each other, right? Not with, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if there's conflict that we have with each other, then I'm not like, if you're in the middle of saying something, even if I may not agree with it or that wasn't my intentions, I'm not gonna, in the middle of you speaking, be like, well, hold on, I gotta stop you right there because you know me and you know I would never intentionally hurt your feelings. And it's like, let the person finish their statement. Damn, give them like 3 more seconds. They probably about to wrap it up. So, so I think I really. And another thing, not just like listen, don't hear a person. You know what I mean? Like really listen, and don't listen to like hurry up and, say what you got to say. Like acknowledge the points that they made, and then, express yourself, and how you will be mindful of whatever they mentioned, and just be better. And yeah, like I think it's just important to, just like you, like one would nurture their relationship, nurture your friendship. And I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think sometimes as women we are taught that. I think that it's so much emphasis on the tools and resources and ways to nurture an intimate relationship versus, pouring into and nurturing like your friendships as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think there's a lot of emphasis placed just on nurturing like your romantic relationships. And that is completely important. I'm not by any means advocating for someone not to nurture their romantic relationship, particularly if you're in a marriage covenant.
Right.
But it's also important for you to nurture and pour into your platonic friendships with your girlfriends, because I find that we are just able to connect on a completely different way as women. And although I've been grateful, excuse me, for, romantic partners, it's just something about being able to connect with another woman. Like, sis, I hear you. You too? You got a white all, it's just, it's so helpful. So I definitely agree with that. I find that, yes, you are a great listener. So I'm grateful for that. The way we handle conflict, I would just say we just simply talk it out and give each other the space to release it. And by hearing each other, I also appreciate that you and I, we don't get rah-rah with each other. Yeah. I don't remember many, if any, times that we have gotten like into a heated discussion. And let me say this, I'm not deterring someone. If that's what you and your girlfriend need to do to get things out, I think it's better to get it out instead of keeping it in. But you and I don't do that. We don't, I think a bigger part of that is because we don't come into the space with, I'm going to tell her right now. No, it's like, yo, I know you didn't have this intention, but when you did XYZ, it really hurt my feelings. And I want us to be able to recover from this. So I would say going into it with the intention of clarity, clearing your heart, and with a positive mindset. That's what I would say.
Yeah. No, yeah, I would agree with all that. I think also it's just not in our nature to come at each other screaming.
No.
I like, anyone who knows me knows I'm super silly. I don't even like raising my voice. I really just like talking on this level. And I feel like that's the best way that you get things accomplished. Now, I mean, of course, if someone is being foolish with you, then I guess you got to raise your voice but then like walk away. We not promoting violence, but
At
um,
all.
but yeah, no, I think that it's just in our, in us to just kind of talk in a very respectful tone to each other and anyone else that we're like kind of having a conflict with.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that. I definitely agree with that. So that leads me into my next question. In what ways have we nurtured our friendship? Because, like we stated, I reside in Atlanta, Megan lives in New York. So, what ways have you found that are effective, like things that we put into practice to nurture our friendship?
I think checking in, even if you don't
Mhm.
like one thing about uh Jess and I, we don't talk every day. And we don't
Mhm.
always talk for long period of hours. Like there are times where we do, talk for long period of hours. And then sometimes it's just like a simple text where it's just like, hey, just checking in. How you doing? How
Mhm.
you feeling? You good? All right. Um, and yeah, no, I think also one thing that I love about our friendship and, other friendships that I have too, like it's it's low maintenance. And I don't mean low maintenance like
Talk
we
about it.
yeah. And I don't mean low maintenance like, oh, like low budget, cheap or whatever like
Mhm.
that. When I say low maintenance, like there is no heavy expectations of where it's like, well, we ain't talked today and we ain't talked in 2 days or we ain't talked in 3 days. We beefing. What's the problem? Are we still
Mhm.
friends? And it's like when, if I've met people, obviously we live in different cities. We, moved from our hometown and had to navigate meeting new people. And I have
Mhm.
met, especially like in New York, I have met people where it's like, if in order for us to be a friend, that I have to speak or see you, every day, we got to be at brunch every weekend having a red velvet waffle and chicken. Like,
Yeah, I'm good. I'm supposed
it's
to talk
like,
about the red velvet waffles and chicken.
girl, and a mimosa, whatever. Like, if that is your definition of what a friendship looks like, where we have to talk every day and see each other every day, I am not the girl for you. And I'm okay with saying, look, go find your tribe because I am not that girl for you. I love my friend. To me, sending a meme on Instagram, we spoke today. We good. When the last time you talked to Jessica? Good. This morning we sent each other a total of 4 videos on Instagram laughing. Like, and I love
Yeah.
that. It's just no high expectations. Like, it's not like, oh, you didn't fly into Atlanta this year for my birthday. We good. You didn't come to New York for my birthday. It's like people got, yeah, like if we just don't require a lot. We get it. We just understand each other.
I agree with that. I think we do have a high priority but low maintenance friendship, and I appreciate that about us. I think that, so to add on some of the from my perspective, some of the things that we do that are really great to maintain our friendship, we do check in. We send each other like foolish.
Mhm.
If you saw our Instagram DMs, the hollers, the hollers. The
Dollars.
hollers. We do that. We definitely check in. Like you said, we don't talk every day. We have some periods where both may have, or one or both of us may have a major life thing going on, and we are able to talk every day or need to talk every day. But then we don't. We both are adult working women with responsibilities, relationships, other friendships. And so we don't always have the time to talk every day. However, we still prioritize with a simple like, hey girl, you good? And
Right.
actually being honest about how we feel.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I didn't mention earlier that has changed. We actually both are not like, I'm good. It's like, I'm feeling this today. I'm pushing through, but this is what I'm feeling. I think when we are able to, we try to travel together. Not every trip that we take, but if we're able to take a trip, then we do that. And I think just knowing each other. So we went to Aruba for your birthday. This was a couple of years ago. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we traveled with two other girlfriends, and there were like some activities. I knew the prioritized activities, and I was present in there for those. And then there were some activities where I was like, I'm gonna just chill and I have my book that I want to finish and I'll just go find a spot on the beach, or hey, I actually may want to go do yoga during this or whatever.
Yeah.
And like these girlfriends, they had never traveled with me before, and Megan and I have been friends forever. So she knew me. She knew it was fine, but they were like, it's just okay. Do you think it's money? Like, should we spot her? And then Megan was like, nah, girl, that's just Jess.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that, because there are some other friends who would have taken that and felt away and been like, no, you're here for my birthday. You took
I would
vacation.
have came back in the States now, friend.
Yes, you would have came back, or sad to say, not come back into the States. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's wild. And so I think we don't project our own wants onto each other. Like, I'm sure Megan would have loved for me to be there for certain activities. I would have loved for her to do some of the things with me that I did and took interest in while during our time there. But I understood, like, that's not what she wanted to do. So I didn't feel away because she didn't want to do it, and she didn't feel away because I did something else. Because listen, and I want to put this PSA out here, we're all adults. So at this point, when you're traveling for whether it's, and I'm saying, I don't even care. And there might be some people that get mad about this. I don't care if you're traveling for someone's bachelorette, for their birthday, just because they're breathing, whatever reason you're traveling for. As an adult, you are spending your hard-earned money, and I'm pretty sure you're probably taking some of your vacation days, if you get vacation days. So just keep that in mind. Like, I understand, when you come for a trip, there's a fine line with supporting your friend on their trip. Mm-hmm. But as adults, I don't think these expectations of being at all of these activities to be in matching bathing suits should be the standard for friendship. So don't get me started on that. But
yeah, and I think that because I just understand you and like all of my friends, like I just get you and I get y'all, where it's no pressure. Like you said, you prioritize the things that I wanted everyone to attend. But like when there were days, or not even just like that, because I feel like every day we did something together. But if it was like maybe for lunch, I wanted to do this, but you wanted to that, like I was okay with, because I was like, oh yeah, like just want to like go do a workout session and read a book. I'm not working out in Aruba. That's just not what I want to do. I want to go be on the strip and like be with the locals. But like that evening when it was time to do dinner and whatever else I wanted to do, Jess was right there. So yeah. And sometimes I think that that's important when you are traveling with a person. Like sometimes it takes a lot of energy before you even get to the trip. You are, making sure like with work that all of your assignments and your tasks are completed. You're buying your outfits. You are, throughout maybe months, you are budgeting and stuff like that. Then you got to travel to the airport, go through TSA, you're on the plane or what, like sometimes you don't realize it, but you've already like used so much energy. So by the time you get to the vacation, maybe after day 2, you kind of want to sleep in a little bit, but that person, if let's say I was someone who was like, no, we got a very strict itinerary, everybody need to be at brunch. And it's just like, nah, sis kind of tired. Like maybe right before the trip, while we all took the day off, she had to like work to maybe 8, 9 o'clock that night to complete everything for work, just to make sure she could afford to, like disconnect from her job and be on this trip. But I think a lot of times we don't friendships, you don't communicate the sacrifices that you make to be present with a friend. And when you do that, maybe it won't be, so many friendships falling out after vacations or trips to Miami. Like when we come back from Miami, girls, we need to still be friends.
That part, everything you just said, because I never even thought about it like that. Like you do put so much effort even into just getting to the trip. Right. Don't get me wrong, I love a trip. A sis loves being flued out. Yeah, flued out. But there's a lot of effort behind that. So, like you said, even just getting everything straight with work prior to that, so you can log off and be peacefully logged off, not on vacation and your mind still at work.
Mm-hmm.
As women, nail done, hair done, everything did.
Right.
Laser treatments, wax,
Oh,
whatever your thing
right.
is, packing, getting, if you have kids, getting them settled. If you have a fur child, getting them to daycare, making sure
Right.
their snacks are packed. If you have a romantic partner, making sure they're good. So it's just, it's a lot. It's a
We're gonna
lot.
keep this session PG, Jess. Okay.
We are. I didn't go into details. I just left it alone.
Right.
But all of those things, and I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about, like, do they have food? And, like, just whatever. You have the instructions for the house for them.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely, I appreciate that. And I think that's good. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Maybe we need to do another episode about what type of travel friend are you.
And that's, what, another thing, it's okay if, like, you got a good friendship with that person, but they're just not the friend that you travel with.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad you said that. Just like you said, we
That's
couldn't
okay.
live together. We
Right.
figured that out. And we
everybody, you don't take out the country. And I stand on that.
You don't.
Next question.
Our next. Okay. The next question. What have we learned from each other?
Grace.
Mm.
Forgiveness. The importance of nurturing. I think that when it comes to Jess and I, like, we've always been very self-motivated individuals. Like, we want something, we put our mind to it, we get it done. And I can remember, like, as young as what was it, like 4th or 5th grade with the Scholastic, we wanted so in elementary school, it's like if you got to 100 points, you got to be in a parade. And, like, we kind of continue to encourage each other, where it was like, all right, girl, get to 75 points, get to, read your book, so you can get to 100 points, so we can be in the parade. We're trying to get a peace party. We're trying to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Food motivates both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, like, kind of keeping each other, like, on each other's toes, making sure, like, we don't allow each other to be complacent in whatever we're doing. And it's like, we also don't, like, we're not the type of girls where it's like, I'm not going to share my resources or information that I know of, because I ain't trying to have Jessica be ahead of me in something.
Yeah.
And we share, like, we're vulnerable about, like, how to approach a job interview, or how to approach, just our careers, and how we want to, navigate as far as continue to be either promoted or advance, and whether it's, like, careers or hobbies. And I think that, yeah, there's no fear of, like, I'm not going to share this with Jess because she could take this and then, like, take it further than I've been able to take it, or vice versa. And I love that about us. Like, there's no jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, a win for you is a win for me. Because I look at it like a win for you means, like, I'm surrounded by the win. Like, I'm next in line. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, we are each other's cheerleaders.
Yeah, and I think that's the way friendship is supposed to be. I feel like it's better to make it when your people make it with you. I don't want to be, I have no desire to be the smartest, nor most successful person in my friend group. I honestly will say that I am humbly intimidated by each of you all. And what that means is it forces me to be sharper, because each of you all have so much knowledge, and you bring that to the table, and it just allows all of us to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll start with what I have learned from you is, like I said, from the time we were kids, you've always been just so confident and just within yourself. And as a woman, that confidence has only increased. Like, you've never been a girl to stress out about calories or, if a man was going to call you back. Whereas, like, at 10, I was like, do you think we're going to get married? And you'd be like, just we 10. And I was like, I know, but do you think we're going to get married? And I slowly grew out of that, but having you as a friend just encouraged my confidence in that area. And you don't let things stress you out, which is why your skin is crack free. That, and we're both Black, but you don't let things stress you out. And when you're mad or when something bothers you, it bothers you, but it's far and few in between. You embrace and meet people where they're at. You don't force things on people. You advocate for yourself by speaking up when you need something more out of someone, but you don't force those things onto someone to try to force a change. And in addition to that, something I've learned a lot from you lately is you are like a whiz with finances and investing and all of these things. And it's just extremely impressive to me the way you do that. And I'm impressed with the way you lean into your passion with being a writer, like writing for Sheen. Like, some of the people that you've interviewed, like Cynthia Bailey, Kyla Pratt, like Martha Stewart, and you lean into it. And if you have any nerves, you don't show it. But that's just really inspiring, the way that you lean into those things. And I think one of the many reasons that you're great at doing that is because you embrace people for who they are and where they are. And that's something that I've learned a lot from you. Instead of being like, I don't know about you, like, yeah, like, let's just welcome them in. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're welcoming them in. But I've learned a lot from you in that regard. So I want to lead into our last topic. Yeah, girl, I learned a lot from y'all. So let me backtrack. So, curating friendships as an adult. What has your overall experience been like with that? And what are your desires in a friend now as an adult?
Say the first. You broke up for a minute. Say the first one.
Yeah. So, curating friendships as an adult. What has your experience been like with that? And then the second part of the question is, what do you desire as a friend to have in a friend now as an adult? What qualities do you desire to have?
Well, what I desire to have at this point, with a friend is just like, again, someone who's low maintenance. Like, you don't put high expectations on me. If I don't meet those high expectations, then like I'm not considered a good friend. Someone who can communicate, who's understanding, who like I don't like drama either. So even if I don't like someone, like, even if we don't have drama, but every time you call me, you telling me about like either some drama with, maybe a romantic relationship or family. It's like, and we all know, like, we all got that one person that every time they call you, ain't nothing positive. You can be having a good day, just got you an ice cream cone, and then they call you, it's like, damn, I don't even want my ice cream cone. So I like, if you are just like, and I get it, sometimes people in their it's unfortunate, but sometimes people always just naturally have something going on. And if I don't want no burden friendships. I don't. I'll be selfish.
I love that.
And you said the first question was like just navigating.
What is your experience? What has your experience been like with curating these friendships and navigating them?
I think just being like, when I moved to New York, I was 22 years old, and so wanted to just kind of find like who gets me out here. where I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to, because even though I'm from Mobile, Alabama, I'm a very proud Southern girl, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about to come to New York and like change my accent, change and act like, oh, let me hide the Southern in me, in order for us to be friends or feel accepted.
Right.
So I feel like, as an adult, it's just like, let's just see if we mesh,
Mm-hmm.
and you accept me who I am, I accept you as you are, and then it's just like we have good communication skills. We enjoy the same interests. Like, even if you are from New York, and I'm from the South, or you're from the Caribbean or wherever, it's like, oh, you enjoy going to museums, girl, me too. Oh, you enjoy like things that, I don't mind being like outside at the brunch parties or a nice like Brooklyn block party, but it's like my idea of enjoying a good girlfriend and like our kiki time, it doesn't always have to be surrounded by parties. Like
Mm-hmm.
let's, like I said, let's go to a museum, let's go to a festival, let's go have a picnic in the park, and let's just catch up. Like, how has things been for you in life? And I think that is how I've been able to um navigate all the friendships that I have. Um yeah, like, and then, continue to check in with them too. um when they want to talk, even if I'm busy, being like, hey girl, I got a busy day today, but tomorrow, I have some time to maybe spare like 30 minutes to chat with you, and like let's catch up and see. And then like if they're going through something where I could hear it in their voice, where it's like, sometimes people need more than just having that conversation on the phone. They need a hug. So it's
Yeah.
like, girl, what you doing this weekend? All right, I'm gonna come over, or you can come over here, or let's meet somewhere, and let's get at the house. So like, I think just seeing what a person needs, and I feel like I at least try to do my best. You and
Mm-hmm.
I, we have a lot of friendships outside of each other, and just kind of um seeing what each individual needs, because what Jess needs may not be what such and such needs, or this girlfriend, and just meeting you all where you're at. And I think that is just how you navigate friendships as an adult, just meeting a person where they're at. And even if you all are in different places, still celebrating them and being on that journey with them. Like, we have girlfriends who are married with kids. And
Mm-hmm.
even though we're not married and we're not kids, that doesn't mean like, oh, well, she not gonna be my friend no more, or we don't need to be friends no
Yes.
more because, we don't have, like, I don't have no kid. What we got in common? It's like, no, like, celebrate and be on that journey with your girlfriend. And yeah, you all may not speak every day because now they're like, you're taking on whatever you're taking on in life. They're taking on this new transition that they're taking on in life, but finding the time to still check in and just be vulnerable with each other, and just be on that journey where your girlfriends are going through different transitions in life. I think that is how I've been able to navigate uh, friendships as an adult.
I like everything that you said, and I think one thing that is really good in particular is not disposing of your friends because you're in a different season
Mm-hmm.
than them. Because
Mm-hmm.
at some point, listen, you don't no one you don't have to be married or have kids, but if you do desire that, at some point it will come.
Right.
And I would hope that you're surrounded by girlfriends, that you may still have some single girlfriends. Not It's not possible to have every girlfriend in your life, new and old friends and new friends that are in the same season as you. And I think if you're seeking that out, number one, you're seeking out friends based off of the wrong things. It's
Right.
great to have friends that you have things in common with, but that shouldn't be a prerequisite to be your friend.
Right.
And so I'm glad you said that, because we've come across certain people that feel like, oh, well, you're in this season. I can't relate to that. I don't care about going to a bridal shower.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't be your friend. Pull up at Super meatballs. Like you don't have to do
Right.
that to them.
We
And
love a meatball.
I would say, yeah, just pull up, celebrate them. And I would say, even me, I'll be honest with myself. Like, I have a girlfriend who is in a season in her life where she's married and has kids, excuse me. And at one point, I did think our relationship would be nurtured differently, being now both of us now in Atlanta. And then once we both were able to find the time to get together and we have vulnerable moments about what we both had going on in our lives as far as responsibilities and what was on our plate, I felt so much more empathy for her. And I could, not only did I have empathy for her and like what she was juggling, but I also was able to meet her halfway, and it sharpened me to be a better friend in that way. And I also realized that by her prioritizing finding time for us at that moment, she does value the friendship. We both have different capacities. Like, I have a higher capacity right now than she has, and that may change. Like, there may be a season as her kids are older where she has all the capacity, and when I'm having my babies at 80, I'm just teasing, but I may not have that same capacity. So it'll then be her turn to switch and, share the grace.
Right.
But for now, I appreciate our friendship for what it is and appreciate the friend that she is to me. So it was that was a learning moment. What I would say for me, curating friendships as an adult, I would say it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing in gaining new girlfriends, but also it's given me the opportunity to have a mirror shed on me on the areas that I need to be better. And I just find that now I'm so grateful for the girlfriends, one of few who's on this podcast, that I have from childhood. But the friends that I do have from childhood, what I appreciate about them is that we don't have to go into the story about who our parents are and this person. We just want to call and vent and share these things.
Right.
We can jump right in because you and I, we already know each other. We have this history. What I appreciate about my friends that I've created as an adult, that takes a different level of intentionality in pursuing the friendship and maintaining the friendship.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a different level of appreciation. And so I also want to get your insight on this, and I promise this is our last question, because I know there are some people who may be a trans city, or maybe they are still in their hometown. We had the internet.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
So
said in their hometown and what?
Yes. So we may have some listeners who are a transplant to their current city, or they may reside in their hometown, but they may be in a space where they're struggling to meet new girlfriends, because you're not alone with this. I've been there. Megan has been there. We've all been there where we're trying to make friends as an adult. It's not easy. So I'll kick it off by saying some of the things that I've tried, that I have used to be able to make good girlfriends as an adult, and then I want you to share. So for me, what I focused on doing is identifying the things that are important to me. Faith and civic engagement are two things that are really important to me, along with fashion. And so when I joined my church now, I was very intentional about building a community, and I strengthened my relationship with God along the way, and I built friendships that have been able to do that. In addition to that, I made some girlfriends during my time in New Orleans through a nonprofit that I was serving as a leader on. And one of them, were actually still to this day, she's now in DC, I'm in Atlanta, but we still make the effort to maintain that friendship. And another thing that I did, being a stylist, I have been intentional about connecting with other ladies in the industry, because there is a uniqueness as Black women in the industry. We can really relate to each other in the struggles of not being represented. And that's really important to have that circle and that community to be able to go back to. So to run it back, what I would say is Figure out what is important to you. If it's exercise, look into an exercise class, an exercise group. I know in Atlanta they have several different hiking groups for Black people. They have running groups. Look into those types of things. If you love to read, join a book club. I've met some ladies through book clubs.
I was gonna say that.
That's really good. If you really enjoy volunteering and giving back, you can meet girlfriends that way. Something I did in New Orleans was I downloaded the Meetup app and I met a good group of girlfriends through that, through doing different activities. We did a pottery painting class. We went to concerts together. We did other things besides going to a lounge and just being a hookah hoochie. There's nothing wrong with going to a lounge. Like you said, a hookah hoochie girl. But there's something you said about meeting. What stood out to me is you mentioned like meeting, having shared interests,
right?
And that not always, the turn up doesn't always have to be your outing with your girlfriends. So there's so many ways to meet girlfriends in any area of interest that you have. And if you don't see a group that exists, if you love to knit or crochet, like
right,
start a group for that. There is a tribe and you can meet your people. So I want to encourage everyone in that area if you're struggling to meet girlfriends. And I want to kick it back over to you to share your tips.
Yeah, no, everything you said, because I was gonna say, like, if you enjoy reading, join a book club. If you, whatever you enjoy, like whatever your interests are, like find ways to take those it's Easter weekend, and I guess Brooklyn just is gonna have a good time. God, I'm trying to drop gems.
You're all good. We can hear you.
Anywho, but yeah, like whatever your interests are, seek that, and then that way you'll find people who, obviously you connect in that because you have, like-minded interests. And just don't be afraid to go enjoy yourself alone, because a lot of times I've met really fun people and had a good time going out on my own. Like it was a concert I wanted to go to, and I wanted to go see Snow Allegra, and nobody really knew like her music like I did or whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna go like on my own. And I ended up meeting like 3 other girls that were there by themselves, and we just, coincidentally were sitting on the same row, and we had a blast. And like could stay connected like on Instagram and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to like go by yourself. I know a lot of times, when you may have like your good friend, your best friend that like lives in the same city as you, or you have like your boyfriend or your husband, but like maybe they're tired from work, or they are at work or out of town for work or whatever, and you're like, oh, I really want to go to like this, festival, but I don't want to go by myself. Go by yourself, sis. Like go enjoy yourself, and you never know, like you may meet like your Jessica or your Megan or whatever, and then next thing you know, like 20 plus years later, it's like, how did y'all meet? Because I went out to a festival by myself and I met like my person. So and even if you like not meeting a friend, if you're single, you may meet your boo. So don't be afraid to, and I know that can be kind of like, some people may have like anxiety or like kind of like navigating how to go out on their own, but I would say I would encourage that. You're struggling like meeting, girlfriends because like maybe your friends have like moved away, or you're the one who moved away. Like Jess said, go on the Meetup app, join a book club, whatever your interests are, join that. And then just don't be afraid to like go by yourself. And another thing, retreats. Like if you enjoy a retreat, like if you enjoy traveling, but you are the type of person that when you travel, you like to be more on like a Zen tone, go to retreats. I know a lot of people who have attended retreats and met not even just good girlfriends, but business partners. Because a lot of times, like people who are on these retreats are women who are super successful in their right, and entrepreneurs. So you never know, you may meet a business partner.
That's such a good idea. I never would have thought about a retreat. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a really good idea for people to implement to meet their girlfriends.
Right. Just do your research on a retreat. Do your reviews. Make sure you ain't getting scammed.
That part. Make sure you're not getting scammed. Make sure you're not running into a Jim Jones situation.
Yeah, we don't.
We're not endorsing that. We're talking about actual legitimized retreats, people.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sending you anywhere to get on some freaky stuff, okay?
All right. No.
All right. So, with that said, I want to close it out and give you the space for any last remarks and give you opportunity to tell everyone where they can find you and ways to keep up with you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for everyone who, tuned in and got to like hear our, history and the evolution of our friendship. I hope that all the gems that we dropped today that that they're received and you can, take them and apply them to your life and that they were helpful. And shout out to you, Jess, for just being like the superwoman that you are and creating this, this space and this platform and inviting me to have this first conversation with you. I think that um, it was definitely much needed. And I think that, the information that we shared and the stories that we shared today, like we're definitely going to help other women who probably were like kind of, handling, like dealing with some difficulties or conflicts in their friendships. And, what we shared today is going to help them be a better woman, a better girlfriend. And so, yeah, if you want to stay connected with me, I'm on Instagram at that's THE, Megan, MEGAN, Simone, SIMONE. So the Megan Simone on Instagram.
I appreciate that. Come on, plug. You can tell she interviews the celebrities, y'all. I love it. So,
I'll be like,
you gotta do it, girl. So I will close it out by saying I appreciate you, obviously, first and foremost, as my best friend, but as our first guest for Style and Conversation. And my hope for this is that someone hears our story and if they are struggling and trying to mend things with their best friend, they're able to come to some sort of resolution and reconciliation if they feel that reconciliation is best. And if you're navigating adult friendships, be able to take some of the tips that we've shared on ways to be a better friend and continue to evolve. I want to invite you all to keep up with us on Instagram at style_and conversation. And then also be sure to stream this podcast on Spotify as well as YouTube and keep up with us. This is our first season, the first episode in our 30, Flirty, and Thriving series. And we will have so much more coming this season that I am excited to share with you. Please reach out to me via email if you have any ideas or if you are a professional, an expert that we should be talking to. If you have an idea, I can be reached at styledbyjessicalauren@gmail.com. And thank you all so much. And with that, we are out.